Good evening, everyone. I am Council President Mally Rosado, and I am calling to order this public hearing of Monday, June 29th, 2020, for the Community Development Block Grant Program Year 46 for year 2020-2021 to order. Thank you to everyone for joining us today, and thank you to everyone who signed up to speak tonight. The council is here to hold our annual hearing for the Connecticut Neighborhood Assistance Act, or NAA for short. The NAA is a state program run by the Department of Revenue Services. It offers a corporate tax credit to businesses who donate to nonprofit organizations to support activities provided under the program. The council's role is to act on behalf of the city of Hartford to do three things. First, the council holds the required annual hearing. Anyone can come to the hearing to advocate for approval of an NAA application or to speak against approval. Then the council reviews all the applications that were received this year. Finally, the council acts to approve submitting the applications to the Department of Revenue Services. This year, it has to vote by its July meeting so all applications can be sent to the state on time. The Office of Central Grants handles the administration and supports the council in doing its NAA hearing and review each year. They are here tonight to help us with this hearing and to answer any question anyone has. So thank you to Ronnie Vasquez, Project Manager in Central Grants, who receives the application and processes the paperwork for NAA. He'll be taking notes for us tonight. And thank you to Joan Baer, the Director for Central Grants. We also have on our screen, joining us tonight, Councilwoman Shirley Surgeon, Councilman James Sanchez, Councilman Nick LeBron, Councilman TJ Clark, and others will be joining us shortly. So with that said, I want to thank Joan again. And Joan, you have a few words to say, anything you have to provide us with regarding the NAA program before we begin. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Council President. Thank you, Majority Leader, other council members who are here this evening. Thank you for hosting this hearing on NAA. I do have a few things. Just to give an overview of the program, for the record, the Neighborhood Assistance Act is a state program, as you mentioned, Council President, and it's managed through Connecticut Department of Revenue Services, and the municipalities are charged by law to do the processing at city level and then send applications to the state. So that's part of what we're doing tonight. It's not a grant program. What we're doing here is approving applications from the nonprofits for DRS to approve their programs, and then they go to corporate sponsors and ask them to give donations that DRS allows them to have tax credits for. There are a number of different kinds of eligible programs, but you'll notice looking at the applications, a lot of them are energy conservation, because that's one of the few types of projects that gets 100% tax credit. So they're kind of popular in this program. And what the tax exempt organizations do, all the nonprofits, is they do these applications with an NAA form. They were due this year on June 8th. That's about a month later than usual because the state gave a 1-month extension due to COVID this year. So our applications usually are due June 30th, and this year they're due July 31st. Just wanted to let everybody know that in case they were wondering why it's late. And then DRS processes all this, and then they let the contributors know in fall how much of a tax credit they get. Just an interesting aside, last year, the City Council approved over $8 million in applications, but actually after DRS approved the applications, and they have a limit for the state, which is $5 million in credits statewide. Now, obviously, Hartford asked for $8 million, which is a lot higher than the whole state is entitled to. So they spread it out across the state, and then after everybody has actually secured the funds, last year, Hartford nonprofits got a total of $796,474 in contributions from their donors. So that's about a 16% net on the process. Any contributing business is limited to about $150,000 in tax credits, so that's all they can get. None of them got that much this year. And that's about it. If anybody has any questions, I'm here to answer, but I'll be here through the whole hearing. So thank you.
Thank you, Joan, for that introduction. With that said, we will now start the public hearing process. And just for some housekeepings, I want to state that Councilman LeBron will be our timekeeper. Everyone has 3 minutes for their presentation. And again, for those who have joined us right now and are viewing us, we are conducting the public hearing for the CDBG, also known as the Community Development Block Grant for year 2020, 2021. And council members that are here with us tonight are Councilwoman Shirley Surgeon, Councilman Nick LeBron, Councilman Sanchez, Councilman TJ Clark, Councilwoman Wildelise Bermudez. And our first on the list to speak is Kathy Evans. Kathy Evans, you have the floor.
Thank you. I thought I was number 6, but I actually don't have a presentation. I actually have some questions that I'd like people to consider. A lot of nonprofits have stopped writing the NAA proposals because we're just not getting corporations to understand it, to even want to apply or participate. And so I had talked to Joan probably about a year ago with a suggestion that maybe the city could do some kind of corporate fair so the corporations could understand that this is legitimate, it's something the city backs, and they can have it explained. Because a lot of nonprofits that I talked to last year, because we're all considering not writing this anymore, and it leaves money on the table that could be Hartford's because people just don't understand it. So that's it.
Thank you, Kathy. Next to speak is Juan Cardona. Juan Cardona.
Hi, this is Juan Cardona. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to everybody on this board, on this council, on this call. Everyone's voices definitely should be appreciated and understood, at least to a certain degree. I'm here calling regards of the NAA. I'm kind of piggybacking off what she just finished saying as far as the information getting to the proper places, to these corporations, to the nonprofits. What I'm seeing is like a trend of like insufficient information, and it's not getting communicated through the proper channels. So I would definitely suggest, or at least see what we're going to do about getting the word out. How are we going to get the word out to where it's needed to go, so we can get the funds to where it's needed? And also, how can we speed up the process for that, for the corporations, for the nonprofits, to try to get through the red tape so the funds could get to where it's needed, at a good enough time, because everyone definitely can use the help at this time. We're going through a very rough time, so I would say we would need to definitely try to speed up the process because a lot of people are, suffering, and it's just not getting to where it needs to go. So that's pretty much all. I'd like to thank everybody and thank you for your time and for having me on here.
Thank you, Mr. Cardona. And I just want to welcome Councilman Mixtum, who just joined us. Next is Sarah Dante. Sarah?
Yeah, hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Yes, hi, I am Sarah Adamti, and I am with the Village for Families and Children. And I wanted to thank the council for having this tonight. The village has been around for over 200 years, and as you know, we're located on Albany Avenue in Hartford. And our application for the NAA, this is our second round asking for the same thing. Our building was constructed in 1925, and we have 8 buildings on our campus. 5 of the buildings are used for programming, 2 of which are residential treatment programs for children. 1 houses our administrative staff, and 2 are shared between programs and administration. We have an antiquated boiler system that's very outdated. It's over 30 years old. So last year, we applied for this grant, and we did receive funding, just about $17,000. The total project cost is over $200,000. We were able to replace 4 of the boilers last year, and we're asking again to be considered for this year so we can go back and do the other 4 outdated boilers. This year will be much more difficult for us to do that with COVID. The village is anticipating a significant loss in revenue. Anything that we can do to try to help replace the boilers as we move into winter would be critical for the village. Any questions?
Thank you. Thank you very much for your comments. For those of you who have just joined us, we are conducting the public hearing for the 2020 Neighborhood Assistance Act for year 2020. Next to speak is Floyd Hartfield. Floyd, you have the floor.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you, Council. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Council. I first want to thank you all. My name is Floyd Hartfield. I'm affiliated with Phillips Metropolitan CME Church in Hartford, Connecticut. And we do a lot for the community. We have just recently completed over 600 COVID-19 tests on 2550 Main Street. We also gave away 1,000 masks. Weekly, we feed the homeless every Saturday and Monday. We have a sign, we stand out there and we say free food. We give them a meal. We also hand out detergent, laundry detergent, and we also hand out toilet paper. We do this every single week. Also, we've done 1,000 masks and we shipped 1,000 masks to Haiti as well. But in our community, we also had a project called Men Standing Up Against Violence. We were on the news last week, and we gave away another 1,000 masks there, along with food and other items. We constantly go to the laundromats in our community, and we pay for the customers' laundry. We show up, we give them whatever it's needed, whatever is required, and these are things that we've done in the community over the years, and we continue to do them to this day. And we've had issues where we have 2550 Main Street. We have a lot of businesses over there, and we have problems with our boilers as well, and we needed some finance to try to support that, and that's what we're really looking for. We're looking for extra lighting for our driveways, so we can have lighting out there for the people as it gets darker, as we go later in time. And you know, we've applied, yes, last year for Neighborhood Assistance Act. We did get some assistance on that, and we're just trying to reapply again this year. It's a great program, great pilot, and we just want to, continue to apply and be a part of it. We also have a pharmacy next door to us that we put in our community, and when people are low on funds, we pay for their pharmaceutical needs. We go ahead and we do that for people that just need it because it's a high expense and it's a need. And since we provided the pharmacy, we also, from time to time, will pay for pharmaceuticals. So those are just a few things that we do at Phillips Metropolitan CME Church under the duration of under the leadership of our Pastor Jeremy L. Williams. So that's really all I have to say, and thank you for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Floyd. Next on our list is Adria Giordano. Adria, you have the floor.
Thank you so much. Good evening, Madam President, council members, Joan and Ronnie. As you said, my name is Adria Giordano, and I am the Director of Development and Communications at Chrysalis Center. I really appreciate you having us all here this evening. Chrysalis Center is a nonprofit organization that serves individuals and families living throughout the state of Connecticut. We have been around we're coming up on our 45th anniversary this year. We help people living in poverty, people who may be struggling with mental health and addiction services, veterans, men, women, young adults, people who may be coming from homelessness or returning from incarceration, as well as people who may have HIV/AIDS. For this NAA grant application, we are very grateful that you have allowed us to be able to provide. I thought I'd give a little overview on what Chrysalis Center's, what our Phelps Village Energy Conservation Program is. That's what we put forward an application for. The Veteran Support Services Program at Phelps Village provides chronically homeless veterans with access to the most basic human needs, safe and secure shelter, while also providing linkages in the community to meet other basic needs, such as food, clothing, a multitude of resources they link them to in the community, including health care. We know that securing housing is the first critical step in assisting homeless veterans. Once housing is secured, the underlying issues which result in the veteran being homeless can truly be worked on and be addressed. In 2018, Chrysalis Center embarked on a capital needs assessment project of Phelps Village. It was determined that we have significant needs to rehab the entire village. It was built in 1905. As you can imagine, there is significant rehabilitation needs that need to be met, including masonry, foundation repairs along the retaining walls, foundation cracks. We have to update to be environmentally efficient with heating and air conditioning systems, and we need new windows in the building, installation of insulated modern windows and seals. So with that, we put forward an application for energy conservation project to truly help our veterans that are living there live in a safe and secure and enjoyable environment. Thank you so much for giving us this time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Next on the list is Janet Freemuth. Janet?
Yes, hello, thank you.
Hi.
And thank you for this opportunity to speak. For over 40 years, Children in Placement has recruited, trained, and managed volunteers to support hundreds of abused and neglected children statewide each year. In 2018, we talked to the courts, the Department of Children and Families, the Juvenile Justice Agencies, Department of Corrections, and Court Support Services. We wanted to understand the gap in service, and as we quickly found through our discussions and research that Connecticut was losing hold of our vulnerable youth. Those youth have been in the foster system, juvenile justice system, or simply out in the streets without a parent or guardian figure. Last year, 3,000 youth in Connecticut were identified as being homeless. 33% had child welfare involvement, 21% had juvenile justice involvement, and 22% said that the place that they were staying was not safe. There are programs for young people involved in the child welfare system through DCF, and some accept that support. All too often, they are tired of the system, the rules, and feel that they are better off on their own. We recently had a case where a child who was in DCF involved had been to 3 foster homes. He wanted to hang out with his friends and come home whenever he felt like it and wanted to smoke marijuana. The foster families wouldn't put up with that, and so he was placed in a residential program. He lasted 1 day and went AWOL. That was 3 weeks ago. We still have not heard from him. Children in Placement's Youth Sponsor Program is designed to be a long-lasting mentoring program. While some mentoring programs are time-limited, ours is not. It's a youth-driven model so that the youth have control of the relationship, something they may not have felt that they ever had. Of course, they have to want the relationship. Our program utilizes volunteers. Youth don't want someone who's paid to be their friend. Our mentors are screened, background checked, and go through training that reviews adolescent behavior, trauma, cultural awareness, and expectations and roles. In Hartford, we are working with a program called Hoop Wave. Dean Jones operates this program for at-risk youth. Hoop Wave's purpose is to increase passion, dreams, and hope in the lives of young people. HOOP stands for Hope, Opportunity, Obedience, and Pride. Every youth we serve will overcome systemic, personal, and educational adversity, thus allowing them to lead happy, healthy, and productive and successful lives. Hoop Wave incorporates basketball into their programming, and together, Hoop Wave and youth sponsors is looking to develop supports for Hartford youth by providing mentors to youth at risk or involved in the system previously discussed. Working together, funding will be utilized in the city of Hartford to continue to recruit and train volunteers and provide opportunities to youth through programming, housing supports, education, and employment opportunities for youth that didn't realize this for themselves. It's a hand up, not a handout. We believe that every at-risk youth deserves a chance to grow in an environment that promotes belonging, dignity, and hope. Our youth sponsors are committed to working with marginalized youth to bring the change that leads to empowered, independent young adults and ultimately to build stronger communities. With our youth sponsorship program, interested youth between the ages of 13 and 24 will be provided as sponsor. By establishing these relationships, we hope to provide the support that may be lacking for positive youth-driven core competency development. The intention is to improve the current statistics that show increased homelessness, pregnancies, unemployment, PTSD, and so many other unfortunate long-term outcomes for this group. We have started in Hartford this past year with working with Hoop Wave. We currently have 11 youth enrolled in the program and look forward to continuing our work. And that's any questions?
Councilwoman Bermudez.
Any questions?
Councilwoman Bermudez.
Thank you, through you, Council President. What is the name of the umbrella organization?
It's Children in Placement.
And you said that you began the program as of 1 year?
We started it in 2018. We developed it with Connecticut Children's Medical Center, and we actually started it a year ago, actively working at. And then in Hartford, we started this past summer, so a year ago.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any other questions? Any other questions?
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone on the line that still has not been heard? Is there anyone on the line that still has not been heard? Councilman Gill, welcome. Nice to see you on the screen. For the third time, is there anyone on the screen that has not been heard? Okay, with that said, this concludes our public hearing for the 2020 Neighborhood Assistance Act. We will be back at 7 p.m. this evening for our other public hearing, which is the Community Development Block Grant, also known as CDBG. So we will be logging off now and re-logging back in at 7 p.m. Thank you, everyone. This public hearing is adjourned.